This is 14 engravings on wood by Robert Gibbings. It was issued in 1932 by the Orient line, but printed at the Golden Cockerel Press. And the story behind this book is that Robert Gibbings, who at the time was the proprietor of the press, wrote to the management of the Orient line and offered to provide them with a suite of wood engravings in return for free passage on one of their steamers. They agreed, and the engravings contained in this volume are the result of that collaboration. As far as I've seen, this book was issued in 2 states. The most common of the 2 seems to be the one that is bound in yellow paper wrappers with this title simply printed on the front. And the second state, which I have here and of which I've only ever seen 2 copies, is this one in hard boards that are covered in this blue laid paper and then quarter bound in this green cloth. Accompanying the book was a compliment slip from the press, which advised readers that they could write to the proprietors of the press for information about fine books and to the management of the Orient line for information about cruises. Opening it out, we first of all have the end papers, which are printed in this blue laid paper. On my copy, unfortunately, there's a bit of a hole in this front free end paper. And then we go straight to the title page, where we see the full title, 14 Wood Engravings by Robert Gibbings from Drawings Made on Orient Line Cruisers. And we see the first example of Gibbings' engraving work, although this is not included among the promised 14 engravings. The paper in this edition, I believe, is bachelor's handmade paper, which was a paper often used by the Golden Cockerel Press in its best editions. It's a very heavy paper with a nice coarse texture that gives it a somewhat antique feel and altogether tactile and highly pleasing to handle. It's trimmed at the top edge and is left untrimmed at the bottom and fore edges. As for the text, I think I'm right in saying that this is set in Golden Cockerel type, which had been designed by Eric Gill for the exclusive use of the press, and which had seen its premiere 1 year earlier in the 100th story of A.E. Coppard, which I reviewed on this channel a few weeks ago. Next we have another page with a smaller wood engraving and a bit of descriptive text by Gibbings that explains he made these while cruising on Orient steamers. And then we go straight into the main engravings themselves. They are each approximately full-page engravings, and they are all printed on the recto leaf, so for the most part the verso leaves will be left blank. And so now I will leaf through and we'll take a look at all of the engravings in this book. Here is a city street scene. Many of them denote locals going about their ordinary everyday business. Here, Gibbings dared to include a bit of a pun in the caption for the engraving. This is perhaps my personal favourite, a serene scene aboard the deck, no doubt, of one of these Orient steamers. And then here on the reverse of that last engraving, we see printed by Robert Gibbings at the Golden Cockerel Press. And that's all there is to this relatively simple volume. This was 14 engravings on wood by Robert Gibbings.